Hello friends, welcome to Building Web App YouTube channel. Today we are going to see a CRUD operation in Angular version 17. I have created a simple application where I can add the user, edit the user, and as well as delete. Okay, today these are the operations I'm going to tell you how to do it in Angular. Okay, you can see the browser. Here I have a table, so in that table I have some user data, right? So how this data is populated? Okay, so this data I'm getting it from a fake API. Okay, so this is an REST API. I'm using this API to get the user's data. I'm using this URL. So the URL I am using to get the data and display it in the table. Okay, so how I have done it in Angular. So Angular, okay, I have created a service. Okay, make the API call. This is the API URL, and to all this API URL, I need to inject this HTTP client, this API service. Okay, so with this HTTP, calling this API URL. Okay, so all uses that. So this dot HTTP, this is a get method. So I template literal syntax. So this URL, then pass this here, this is the URL. Okay, so using service, I'm calling a API. Okay, uh, this get all users. Okay, here app component. So in app component, uh, when loading the page, I'm calling this get all user. ng on it hook will be called whenever I load this page. ng on it hook will be called. So the API data is binded here, right? When I'm calling this get all users method, okay, so this get all users method, what I have written here is I have injected the service. Okay, so this service I have injected the service because we have the get API endpoint. Okay, the service, right? So I'm injecting here, then I'm using the service. Okay, when this get all users method will be called when I'm refreshing the page, which in turns call the service, and in service we have written the get all users that to call the API, which in turn returns the data. Okay, uh, that data which storing in the users list array. Okay, here you can see the data console.log response. Okay, we inspect. So yes, whenever the page loads, getting the data. So array of objects I'm getting here. In the first row, you can see the name John and the role customer and the email john@gmail.com. So these are the data I have binded to the HTML view template. So I'm storing the data in users list, and iterating it, you can see this is the table and this is the table body. This is the row I need to iterate, right? So user list has the array of objects, so I need to iterate and bind every object to this table. Okay, here what I have done here is the index plus 1, see the series 1, okay, like that, and item dot avatar, the image for avatar is image, and then I have binded the name, role, email. Okay, can the HTML can see the name, role, and email. Okay, so this is how the data is being displayed in the view template. Whenever you refresh the data, you will make an API call, and you can see the network tab. Whenever I refresh the page here, making an get request to this URL. Okay, I'm getting the data which I am which I have binded here in the table. So this is the get operation. Okay, now we are going to add a user. Okay, so for that I have created a model to collect the data from the user. Okay, so in HTML, So in HTML, this is the add button. Just before I have clicked the add button, and this will open a model. Okay, will open a model. Here I am using taxi.json. You can see I am using ngx bootstrap. So from ngx bootstrap, I have used this model. So when I have clicked the add button, this is the model. You can see this is the model right now we are seeing in front. Okay, and I am collecting the name, email, password, avatar. Okay, so I have used the ng model. Okay, whenever you have you have whenever you use ng model, you need to import forms model. Okay, so I'm collecting the data in this form data variable. Okay, collecting this data in form data variable. So whenever user enters the data, this form data will be filled, right? Then if user click add, okay, in the model, this is the place you can see the add. Okay, button status as add. I will explain it uh, how it how you are seeing add here. Okay, whenever I have clicked the add button, this open model method will be called. Here I'm pausing the model, this template, then 0. I will tell you why I have entered 0 little bit later. Then I pausing add and add user. Okay, here this is the template. So whenever this method called, this template will be shown here. Okay, then this is the row ID. Okay, equal to 0. So here as of now I'm pausing 0. Okay, This is the value. In value, this is the button status. So value here is add. Okay. So button status will be add because I'm assigning the value add to this button status. So whenever I open this model, you can see add. Okay. If in case I open the edit, you can see the status change to edit. The same model, but the data is different. I will tell you right now. Okay. And then heading. Heading. I'm pausing the add user heading. So whenever I click this add button, I'm pausing the heading add user. Then I'm assigning it to the variable this dot heading. Okay. So when the model opens, you can see the button status as add and the heading as add user. Okay. Right now I'm fixing the button and you can see the add user as heading and add as the value. Okay. So user enters the data and he will click the add button. Okay. Whenever you click this add button, this method will be called right submit form. So I will check the button status. If it is add, okay, I am going to call the uh, service, right? So which in turn call the create user API endpoint where I need to pass the object. So this is the data I have collected from this model. I need to pass to this API. You can see here to create a user, I need to call this API UI. Okay, and I need to pass this object. Okay, to create the user. And I will get the response like this. So here uh, HTML, I'm coming once again. When I submit the form, if the button status is equal to add, I will call the API service and submit the form data. So this is the form data we have collected from the user and we will pass it to the API endpoints. Okay, as a post method, which we will get the response from the endpoint, and we are storing and we are see we can console as well. Console dot log that response. Okay, console that response. Add using fake filler fill the data and also we can just think about that. See the network tab as well whether the data is going to the API endpoint or not. Clicking the add button, the data. Okay, add. So I'm calling the API. Okay, the post method. Okay, fine. And also you can check the payload whether the data is collected from the user and passing it or not. Okay, yeah, that's also fine. And in response, I'm getting password must contain only letters and numbers. Okay, so and avatar must be a URL address. Okay, so I need to pass the correct values to the backend, right? So we want to and avatar as a link, right? Okay, copy as a URL. Okay, now I am done. Yes. So here you can see the payload. Okay, so I'm getting the response. and you can see in the console uh, line number 183, right? So line number 103. Okay, okay. The line one here I'm getting the response data. So the user which I have created. Okay. And one more thing, network tab as well. You can see another API call is in this get all users. Okay. So we need to update the table, right? To see whether it's been created or not, we need to update the table. So that's why after getting the response, I'm updating the table. Once again, I'm calling the get all users method. Okay, so you can see the user is been added into the table. Okay. What suppose if I need to edit the information of the particular user? Okay. So click this edit button. When I click this edit button, okay, I click this edit button, I need to uh, get the particular user data from the API endpoint, right? Here, update the user. Here, have this URL. I need to pass the particular user ID as well as the okay, okay, fine. This is not. This is for updating the user. I need to get a single user. Yes, yes. This is the correct endpoint. So I need to pass only the ID, and I will get the particular user uh, data. Okay, fine. What I have done it, then I click this edit button, and I need to get the data and I need to bind it in the same model. Okay, so see the HTML code. So edit from the table, the table action. Here I have the edit button, right? So from the edit button, I am calling the same method, open model and I'm passing template this model and passing the ID. Okay, okay, fine. Passing the particular, you can see passing the particular user's ID. This is the item dot ID and this is an edit method and the heading should be edit user. Okay, whenever I click the edit button, that will be called. So I'm getting edit user as the heading and button status as edit. And from where I'm getting this data, need to know, right? So if the value is add, if the value is add, this heading and this button status will be changed. And initially the form data should be empty, right? When I open this model for adding user, but for in case edit, I need to change the value button status as edit and heading as edit. That's why I'm initially setting the row ID to, because we never know, right, which user data will be edited. So initially I'm passing this row ID 0 for that add user. Also I'm passing the value as 0. Here I'm passing the item particular row ID. Okay. And here I am calling the service. So in that service I'm calling the get single user. So that single users ID I'm passing the ID, which in turn I will get a response. Here the method I'm getting the response in the console, right? Console.log response. Okay, at number 87. Okay, this 87 I am data. So this data I'm binding it in the model. Let's check one more time. Clicking Henry. So here the Henry. So I'm binding this data. How I'm doing this? Okay. In HTML, see the form data, whatever response I have received here, right? So this response contains the data key value pair. So I'm binding the respective keys to the form data. Okay, form data name colon response dot mail colon response dot e. Okay, so this form data here, this is the form data. So this form data is binded to the NG model. So whenever we get the response, whenever click the particular user, we will get the particular user response and we bind the data to this NG model. Okay, fine. I think you have understood. So I am changing the name and okay, I'm just editing the username and I will click edit button. So if right now we are in edit, okay, so and whenever I submit the form, this condition will become false and I'm going to call the update single user method. What I have written here is the same. When we call the API service, I need to pass the particular user ID and the form data. Okay, so here in this, to update the single user, I need to pass the ID and the data, right? Okay, so right now uh, you can see the line number 11818. So I am updating the user for 118. The name has been changed to Clinton. Okay, so in table also it is reflecting. So what you can see in the network tab, in so to update the user, I made a put request. Okay, first, and I'm passing the ID as well. So this is the object sending. Okay, which in turn getting the response. After updating, we are getting the response and the, so this is the simplest thing which I have explained. Okay, for delete, for delete, I am doing with I am going to show with some other uh, data. Okay, commenting this data as well. Commenting the get all users. Okay, fine. So you can see list of chords. Okay, what I have written here in my project is whenever the page loads, I need to call the get all products. So whenever I call this method on the page load, in turn the get, which in turn calls this get all products. So here the page, right? Page here the whenever I call these products, okay, I receive this response. Fine. So here I have edit and delete button. For the for the delete operation, I have written uh, delete one. See when I click this delete button, got clear. not clear. How I have done this is uh, here I am receiving the data, right? All products, so data storing it in the product list array. So whenever we are receiving an array, we need to iterate to get the object. So here the item dot images, title, price, edit, delete button. This is what you are seeing in the browser. Title, price, edit button, image. Okay. So we have iterated and displayed it in the browser. So whenever I click the delete button, delete product, okay. So I need to pass the respective ID. Okay, pass the respective ID. So what I have written here, just the filter method, just filtering the product and assigning the product list this array. Okay, this is simple JavaScript. Whenever the ID is not equal, in the sense if I click the delete button, this ID will be filtered and the remaining things will be displayed here. Okay, you can see the response as well. The console. With the delete button, a minute. Okay, fine, fine. Show this warning, but you can see line number 49 getting true. Okay, fine, fine. Okay, fine. So, since you don't need this response, because from the backend API, whenever we click this delete button, they are sending true. So that is why we have got true in the console. Click this delete button. That particular product is deleted. This API called delete API getting the responses. That's why we have that true here, the console. Okay. So this is just a simple filter method in JavaScript. I think you have understood the basic CRUD operations in Angular 17. So please do subscribe my channel, Building Web App YouTube channel. And if you have any topic related or doubts, please do post in the comment section. I will try to help you. Okay, thanks for watching.